What was the story? I think I was in Bama. That's the story about Cobra Tate. Fucking doing
it was. I think it was after the. I think it was after the Carnoon fight. What's his name? Andrew Tate. Yeah. It was an article come out and someone goes, he tagged me in it, and he was saying he'd smashed me and he wanted to fight me. And I didn't even know who he fucking was.
Cobra Tate, we were happy to get it on. PKB.
I dusted him. Yeah, ain't that girl like?
You can do that the next kid when he's a cat.
Co-main.
No time limit. No time limit. No time limit. BKB co-main event.
Get going from the track for some man they wanna chat shit till I knock them in like I'm Jack Shaw. Rolls hat, rolls back, my flow sharp like a hacksaw. Getting off.
Right, we're back, episode 22. The main man Joe's a bit busy and got bits and bobs on, so we've got a special guest co-host for a few episodes. Dirty Dick, Richard Shaw.
Lovely to be here.
Get closer to the mic, sorry, bud. And today's guest, we've got the one and only main man, the former Bama champion, former Cage Warriors champion, multiple fight UFC vet, paratrooper, and the first ever Welshman to get signed to the UFC.
Holder of multiple UFC records.
Yeah, and the toughest street fighter in probably Wales and surrounding areas. The Armour Jack Marshman in the world.
How's it going? All right.
Well, basically, most of the viewers are going to know you anyway, but just to get us going before we start getting on the mental stories and all that, just give us a bit about how you got into MMA, really, and well, obviously how you met him and started training in the first place.
It come down that like I was a little and I just got bigger, really. But no, I was obviously in a little bit of trouble when I was younger. My dad knew Shaky, like, and he was at a different club, but he was basically running it when you done all the MMA, so you was coaching everyone. When it's just someone else having the money, like. Yeah, no. So yeah, so I went in. The day I went in, I just fell in love with it, like straight away.
And was it when you started, 15 or 16?
About 15.
Yeah, I remember watching him fight on the grappling strike. He was only 16.
I was 16 then when I started fighting.
Threw him straight in the deep end, didn't I? No hanging about. I said, I'll give you some challenge your aggression. Why not?
Single swim.
Jumping in front of 500 people.
Like you say, he was a bit of a boy before you found the sport. Bit of a nightmare.
Trains loads now.
How did you like initially find when you first got into it? Did it help you kind of channel your aggression a little bit, or did you find it hard because also you kind of went from, I suppose, doing what you want in essence, being a fucker and playing up, and then also you got him, and we know what he's like even to this day. You won't allow us to
dictator.
Yeah, the ball-headed dictator won't allow us to play up or there was no real leeway kind of thing. So how did you find it first off? Was it hard, or was it kind of just like you said, fell in love with the sport and was like, I'm just going to do this?
No, to be honest with you, it's exactly what you said there. Your dad got on to me, and it was the first time you'd ever been fucking told, no, you're doing this. This is how you're doing it. And it's like, because a lot of people seem to think that like my military background helped with my MMA. It was the opposite way around, because I was doing MMA before. I would have never stayed in the army if I wasn't fighting from like 16 to 17. I started training at 15, fighting at 17, so I had like 2 years of discipline before then I joined the army, and that's the way it worked. If I didn't do the MMA, I flat out wouldn't have stuck to the.
And I think it probably because I think for the first time he wasn't the fittest bloke in the world when he walked through the doors. Right? But
I'm gonna bring weight issues up.
No. What I'm trying to get is through your training, you become fit as a fiddle. You know, that's all you've done. You've gone from, like you said, being up to no good and being a bit of a tearaway in with a gang of lads around the town to in the gym 5 nights a week, making sure your diet is right, your discipline's right, training even at a young age, wasn't it? And as you said, I think all those factored into you probably being one of the more elite people that went through the process when you joined the paratroopers.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I genuinely, like I said, people seem to have, like, people who followed my career seem to have the misconception that it was the other way around. It was like, oh, the military got you in this. It's just because they caught me when I turned pro. But in reality, like I said, it was, if I didn't have them 2 years of fucking, right, this is how you do it. You're training, you turn up this time, 5 minutes before training, you're ready.
Yeah.
If I weren't in all that way, I would have
Yeah,
never
spot
turned
on.
up at the army and been on the ball. Like,
It's you know, and going back to like probably in school, if you was told to do something, did you do it? No. You know what I mean? Was your timekeeping great? No. And I say this to the kids that I work with in school now. I'm going to join the army. You've got no chance unless you get your habits right. And I think probably that's what happened.
That's 100%.
You know, right sleep pattern, getting up on time, arriving on time, working to exhaustion, and all that.
That's
probably set you up at having a really good career in the parachute regiment. And enjoying it, because
I loved
it's
it.
probably very similar lifestyles to some extent. Do you know what I mean?
And it's the same sort of people in there.
Yeah.
The people who are dedicated in the gym are the same sort of people who are like dedicated as soldiers. It's like, it's the same sort of people. Do you know what I mean? You don't like the people who don't want it, and they
don't last, do they?
Yeah, they go.
Yeah, well, how many people are like just based in people I know, and loads of people who ever like gone to army training or started army training and never really finished it because it's the first like form of discipline they've got in their life. Whereas I find, especially back when we started, was it probably 20 whatever years ago or 15 years ago? Back then it wasn't how it is now. It's like now it's the martial arts is in my opinion commercialized now. Where it is a sport that is you've got to have this much money to do it. Back then it was kind of like you pay your membership, turn up to the gym, and it was old school martial arts. Like you said, I can't remember.
You get found out quickly.
Yeah. If you turned up late, you wouldn't be allowed to train. If you didn't have your kit, you wouldn't be allowed to train. If you would never even dream of like speaking back to the instructor or.
No.
And don't be wrong, some things have got to change with time. Like we give you stick in the gym, don't be all laughing and joking. You know, if Marshman get punchy about it, but that's what it was. It was like pop, you know, the stuff you see in like on the karate kid. You're like about to go on the mat. If you're late, you're gonna get beaten. Probably translates to the army a bit, where like if you're late to exercise and whatever, you're gonna get hammered for it. So it probably like without even realizing at the time was very like. I'm not saying that fucking training at the Falcons is similar to training for the paratroopers, but probably coincided a little bit.
A lot of stuff relates, doesn't it? You know what I mean? The fitness, being on time, you know, getting up some days when it's the middle of December, it's hammering down with rain, -3 degrees, and you've just done a day's work, and I think, I've got to get changed now and go up there and you know, work hard for an hour and a half. That's where the discipline comes in.
When did you first decide?
Can I just say, right? You know what you said about being weeded out in the army? It's the same in the club. How many people do we have with great intentions go, right, I'm going to come and join? They'll buy all the kit, they'll be there 6 days a week, they train, and then all of a sudden it starts becoming 5 days a week, 4 days a week, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, I'll have this week off. And it thins out, doesn't it? And it's the same with the army, that's what that filtering out.
My first day joining the army, right, there was like 30-year-old men, I was like just turned 70. There's 30-year-old men crying in the corridor because they was getting beasted. We started with 120 of us and 16 originals passed out. That's it, and it's exactly the same as in the gym. How many lads have turned up who's hard in handling anything? He's a beast, and they turn up the last 2 weeks.
There was a picture the other week you sent it to me. I think it was from our first gym in Abbey, or maybe even when we first went to Blinder, and it was like a class of 40 people, and when we counted, there was about 6 of us. Out of the 40 that are still in the gym. And it's like you said, or do you start with 100 and whatever people and you end up with 16 of passing?
I reckon we've probably turned over since 2008, and I'm not exaggerating, 2,000 people. 2,000 people have come through our door, have come easy.
They've all got the hoodies still.
They just don't come round the other week and bloke walked past me with an old Lady Combat
proper old school
hoodie on with the BJJ stroke combat jiu-jitsu and all. And I thought, where did he got that from? I didn't even recognise him. He didn't recognise me, but they go, all right. So couldn't have trained us, but I don't know where he had that.
When did you first when did it first come into your head to think, I'm going to sign up for the army? And why was it the paratroopers in?
To be honest with you, the way I was like, obviously I was always fucking in trouble, and it was like, I weren't fucking good in school. I didn't have no focus on that. So I was like, I was just from like about 14, I was saying, like, the teacher's like, well, what the fuck are you going to do? You be in a factory or whatever? Straight in. You be in a factory or whatever. And I just like, nah, join the army, whatever. I don't care. Like, that was my attitude. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was going to join like the Royal Welsh because obviously just you're Welsh, like, you do. That's what I was going to go for. And then I was, you know, even at 16, 17, I was a fucking lump. Like, I was probably about, you know, I always say this to everyone. I say I used to fight at 93 kilo when I was 16. And then when I'm 30 years of age, I'm fighting at 84.
Yeah.
It's like, it's madness. But,
I know someone else like that.
For me.
He was fighting 77 kilograms.
I nearly fucking the gym starting at fucking 84 and I've come down a bit. Everyone get older and got get older and coming down. Well, maybe not now.
Yeah.
On my way back up.
You've seen the light of news.
Yeah, on my way back up. But no, yeah. So why the paras over?
Genuinely, right? It was pure luck. I'm glad because I'm like, it's probably one of the things I'm the most proud of in my life is being in the parachute regiment. They're the elite. They're the best soldiers. They're dangerous men. They're brilliant. But I was pure luck. I joined them really purely. I turned up and because I was a big, massive lump, but I was doing a fucking 8 minutes, 16 second mile and a half. They was like, I was like, I'm General West. He said, no, she said, you need to go in the paras. And I was like, yes. I said, yeah, go on, whatever. Not realising, like, you know, I'm afraid of heights. Like, I obviously I'd never been on an airplane.
That was my favourite ever.
Yeah.
He said, and he goes, do you know what, shit? First time I ever got an airplane, they made me come jump out of it.
Fucking the first eight times, and then the 9th time I landed in Afghanistan. I was like, this is shit.
I remember but what you've always had, but is, you know, regardless of whether you've been training or not, you've always had that mentality. We keep going. And we see how, you know, if you take a period of time off gym, come in, you can do the entire session.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably helped you with the army, with these long runs and
Probably
being with the big lads. That mentality, you wouldn't let it break you.
Honestly, like I said earlier, do you know when I turned up on day one and it was literally like 30-year-old men crying, like because we was getting beasted on the corridor, they was just fucking us about, making us, you know, like they do, screaming and shouting at you. And this 30-year-old man and I'm sat there, like, I don't know whether I'm thick or something, but I'm just sat there, like, I was not bothered in the slightest. I was like,
I tell you what, about what Bill's character, you've been used to teachers shouting at you.
Yeah.
Or, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Used to be shouting at
Being in trouble with these meatball every week. Where some of these people, and I see it in day to day when I'm working in the school, they've gone on what to answer to. They've never had anybody raise their voice. They've never had anybody say, well, no. No is a key word. You want to bring somebody up as a person, you've got to say no to people.
You were brutal in the gym with people.
Yeah.
If someone wants to fight, you'll say no. You're not ready, or if someone entering and nothing, say no, I'm pulling out. And you need that. You need that in the gym, and you need it in life in general. Like,
how was when you joined the army? How was the mindset? If you imagine, like in school, if you was being ordered to do something, you'd be, I'm not doing it. What are you going to do with it? How did you transfer then into the army, where it's follow order, discipline?
I jumped straight into it. I jumped straight into it. It didn't bother me in the slightest. It was screaming in my face. If we're gonna have a punch up, you'll see what'll happen. But I'll stand in there, you fucking. I'll stand in there, you scream and shout in my face. That's his job. I ain't gonna cry about that. Like it's I took it really well. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, let's be realistic. Half of the guys who were stood there screaming in your face are fucking handbags anyway. You could but. You know, you'll still say, yes, corporal, no corporal, whatever you say, corporal. Like, and I'm more than happy to do that. It's just a mindset, like I said. I'm like, I don't care about.
What did you enjoy most about it? Because there was a big change in your life, wasn't it? To go from,
what did you dislike?
You know, go from a bad community, you know, and then join that army, completely different lifestyle. What? Let's go through the things you enjoyed there. What made you think, oh yeah, I've made the right choices?
I loved it. Well, so when I was at home, I loved the gym. I loved being in the gym with the boys, that group of people, and that's all I done was go into the military, which is exactly that, but 24/7. You live with these fucking blokes. They like
that team
you
camaraderie.
You want to piss they kill for you, like you know what I mean. If it comes in like, well, literally, like, obviously go to war together, they'd literally kill for you. It's just that group. you know,
A brotherhood, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's extended family. Isn't it?
they save your life and then call you a for getting shot. That's what they like. It's fucking brilliant. It's like I love that about the military. That's the type of what thing it is.
Going back to Jackson, what was the toughest thing?
What?
Or even in the training also.
Oh, more in the training. It's an exercise called the mole. It's like only everyone does something similar, but the parachute regiments is a little bit longer, and it's like a sleep deprivation exercise. So it's like they take you back to like World War II. Is you dig in trenches, but you literally don't have any sleep, and it's like 3 days, right? Honest to God, you were fucking tripping. You were seeing like little rabbits and that running around that end there. Like people are like falling asleep, stood up, and so, but it's on purpose. It's still like take your body. I'm pretty sure they're sort of making it illegal now because it does have some sort of effect to your brain. Like,
is that the story saying with the black horse?
Yeah, right. So like if you imagine this trench is a trench here, a trench there, and a trench in front, like a triangle. And it's obviously someone's on the pick and someone's on the shovel. And like, I'm stood there and I'm looking. It's obviously a guy with a pick. But I'm seeing, do you know, like the Lloyd's horse? Like, I'm stood there and I was like pointing my rifle. About to shoot the book out. Fucking dangerous it is. Obviously,
loaded up.
I blanked. So honestly, God, they put your mind and body under that much stress.
That's a phone call I could have done without 10 years old. Jack was hallucinating on an end shot yesterday and he shot somebody with some bloke.
But the problem is, would you be shocked?
I go on.
You obviously, like you said, the ninth time you got to play, you got dropped in after. How old was it? Was 18 when you first?
18.
Oh, so what?
Is that your first tour?
Yeah, first.
So I can't fathom, like, at 18 I was fucking in university cleaning cars, so I can't even fathom
what's going to war.
I fucking loved it. I did. Like, it's like I said, the group of lads I'm with is like, I got friends for life with them, and it's like I said, you die for them, they die for you. And I loved it as soon as I got there, and it was quite good because 3-Para at the time, they was doing strike ops out of Kandahar, so which means basically you jump on the back of an helicopter, shoot, they'll drop you in somewhere, and they'll say, right, there's a 2-day off, you're gonna fucking do this, and basically for the 2 months that I weren't there, nothing had happened. And then as soon as we got there, we went straight out on up. We went at Fob Ingraman, which is in the green zone. It's fucking, yeah, it's just carnage there. Like as soon as I got there, we just got straight into it. And it's funny. It's funny because they say, it's a 2-day op. Like fucking 3 weeks later, you got no clothes, no food. Like, yeah. Oh, it's every time. It's like,
so what are you doing? Like surviving off the land?
Yeah, no, they bring in whatever they can, but what I'm saying, you've got minimal. You're running out of fucking ammo, and that is like you're firing all your bullets off, and it's like you fucking think, oh shit, I hope no one comes tonight.
So how long did you do your first? Was it 6 months?
Like about 3-4 months it was because
And that was at the time?
Yeah, they was already
When did you come up for Christmas or something like that? Was that a different time?
Yeah. I think that was my second.
Second.
I think, I remember. I was fucking.
What was you nervous when you went up for that first tour?
No, genuinely. So everyone says this. It's like.
Do you know what though? I think with you've got that mentality, and I say this to everybody, and they say he's not afraid of anything in the world. You know, and I'm not just saying that. That's not a feeling. That's a respect.
Yeah.
I mean, I say to everybody, there's no one in the world would phase you if you come to one-on-one arm.
Yeah.
Scrap combat. And I think probably your mentality around being a fighter and going into that sort of role and being dropped off in a foreign country to go to war, which is in essence what you're doing. I think probably you're one of the strongest mindset people in that area that I know of in the world, probably.
But I was surrounded by
like-minded people as well.
Like elite level soldiers. I fucking loved it. I did it. It was like I said, you weirdly enough, you open for it. It's like, you know what I mean? People think like, fucking hell, you wishing to get into a big firefight. It's like, well, yeah, you obviously, you don't want to get fucking
No,
shot,
but
obviously.
that's
but
out the mindset
Yeah.
again, but
you want to put as many of them cunts away as...
1% who could do that job.
Yeah, but you want to put as many of them away as you possibly can.
And that's, like we said, that's why probably there was 120 signed up and they only ended up with 16.
Yeah.
You can't afford to have people out there that haven't got that money.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like you say, you have one weak link in a squad, then that could cost you all your life.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, 100%.
And you say about 120, that's the final selection process. It's probably 500-600 of the original.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
like, I was watching that Tim Kennedy.
Yeah,
He was saying in America back in the 80s, 8 out of 10 people would qualify fitness-wise for the Marines, but then would get filtered out. Now there's only 2 out of 10 because the other 8 out of 10 don't make like the weight and fitness standards. Yeah, which is mental. That it's gone from 80% to 20% in literally 20-30 years.
Yeah,
but that's lifestyle, and that's this. It's a computer screen you see in school. When I was a kid, even when I was a kid.
Yeah.
What were you doing after school? Going straight out on the bike, going out to play football, play rugby. You were doing something, weren't you? You weren't stuck in our bedroom for 8 hours. Yeah. Now, I got kids telling me in careers interviews, they're going to be professional footballers. They never kick the football. Or they're going to be UFC fighters because they're brilliant on the UFC game. Right? You know what I mean? So
tangling.
Again, it's the lifestyle. It's the lifestyle and the food. When I was a kid, you couldn't buy a microwave meal. So everything you bought was... you know, your parents would have to make it. Do you know what I mean? Well, now I just think it's such a comfortable lifestyle. Everybody's comfy, isn't they? Schools are soft, police are soft. No wonder the army's struggling to get people in.
The army's getting soft as well. Yeah. I've heard stories like, 'cause I got like all my mates or like instructors and stuff now, and it's like they got like a yellow card system and that. If they get shouted at too much, they can like
fully go to their safe place.
You're in my personal space, and it's like
I'm just a fucking head. But next week I'm off to Afghan to fight for the Taliban, man. Alright, but you can't use your yellow card out there. Come on,
get a shot at the world cards.
Excuse me, sir, just give me a minute.
So when you come back from Afghan the first time, was that when you first turned pro then?
I think so, yes. Yeah, I think so. Where
was your first pro fight again? Newport, wasn't it?
The French guy. I'm pretty sure though, when I come back from Afghan the first time, that's when I had like the semi-pro fights then.
That's think, right, yeah. Because boxing with the army as well.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so I had so I had like 5 semi-pro fights then, and then I had 1 or 2 pro fights, and then went back to Afghan. And then, if you remember, I spoke to your dad. So it was the second fight with Kevin Reed. I spoke to you when I was in Afghanistan, and I got matched up for it was about like 3 weeks after getting home. I was like, your dad is like, I was like, can you get ready? I was like, yeah. Loads of training out, I had like my little mate who had like fucking 2 amateur boxing fights. Adam Martin. He,
nice.
He's back down in Cornwall now, but and if he had like 2 amateur boxing, just padded me every day. That's it. Like, it was like.
But again, you know, what you probably lacked in preparation is but your fitness levels and your mentality was winning your fights. How many times I had people say, "Oh, too much." When you fought on Spartan Fight Night against the black belt. Yeah, but I'd have a look at that guy, and I'm like, people would. Oh, it's too much. Well, we'll find out tonight. And then when he beat him, people were messaging me and going, "What belt is Marshman then?" And I was going like trolling. Oh, he's a green belt in traditional jiu-jitsu. I just picked up a black belt. You know what I mean? What was the difference between? And they were saying like, "What's that belt with in jiu-jitsu?" It was obviously the same as a black belt.
With our fight, honestly, I just go with like the woman that I ended up marrying. I just go over it. It was like the first fight she'd come to, and I was thinking, I don't get fucking down so quick. I was like, I'm gonna look her right gun. I was like,
that helped me that because you had a bit of pressure.
I was like, I gotta look her right now, man.
Yeah. What was the difference? Last one on the arm. What was the difference between the first time you went and the second time? Was there any difference? Or?
So
Because they're quite close together, really, weren't they?
Yeah,
And was it the
every
same
sort
team
of
of it,
2
or
years.
was you with the
No,
battalion?
different. No, so you can same battalion, but
different
I was
blokes,
with different blokes. Still, like I was with Adam
Adam,
Martin. Yeah. So the main difference was, so on my first one we was doing strike ops, which was, like I said, you're based in Kandahar, which is, you got fucking KFCs and that in Kandahar. It's like, this is where I get fucking mad. Like, you got everyone on Remembrance Day with a little fucking big array of medals across their chest, like, and it's like, that's all they've done is sat there drinking Starbucks for fucking 6 months in the desert, fucking cleaning vehicles or something. It's like, whereas
You've not seen any fight.
no, so you do get a rosette on your medal, which means you've been in combat, like, but fucking, no one really knows that. It sort of irritates me.
Well, no, we wouldn't know that, would we?
No,
So like you said, you're looking at a row of blokes and you wouldn't know who's been in combat.
Yeah, and it'll be some guy who's literally a fucking mechanic with fucking 9 medals across his chest, and then you've got some boy with fucking 1 Afghanistan medal who fucking seen more action.
What would you get the medals for?
All different. It all depends what you mean. Like, you get medals every time there's like a something to do with the royal family, like a fucking coronation or something, they get a medal. So you see some of them, and it's like a lot of them being fuck all, and then you've got all these old boys with like the Northern Idol and medals. It's like,
I've been watching the Crown. I might stick a couple on there.
so you could be on the Ultimate Youth undergroups. I love them. Have you ever seen them? They like follow people who like pretended in the army and chase us.
We've just got a question off someone on the Patreon. What advice would you give anyone thinking about going in for the Power Reds for the training?
It's tough. It is really tough. Only advice, exactly what your dad have been saying all morning, is like, you just got to go in there with that mentality of like, you got to do what you're told, get on with everything to the best of your ability, and just fucking go for it. Like, you can't go in there with a chip on your shoulder, because they'll fucking quickly knock that off your head.
And turn up fit, I guess.
You've got to be fit to go there, like, because everything with the military as well, basically everything you do is like a test. So, they on the first week they'll take you for a couple of runs or whatever, and then on the end of the week there's a test that you've got to hit the target of a certain time or whatever, or at a certain weight you've got to carry over, and it gets intense. It goes up and up and up, so you've got to be fit straight away.
Was there ever any chance, or because you was active in, they went until like 2018, I think it was.
2019, I think.
Was there ever like talk about wanting you to do a third tour? Or?
No, to be honest with you, nothing was happening really. And then as I got out, they all went back to Afghan for the
extraction.
Yeah. So they done, like, to be fair, again, that's why I'm so proud of the Partial Regiment. Like, it's like they was given like 27 hours notice, and two battalions were in Afghanistan in 27 hours doing the extraction. That's why, do you see the photos I posted of them saving kids and that, like pulling them out, and they're just fucking brilliant. They can do both. They can go fucking shooting people, or they can go saving people. It's
real soldiers, man.
So fast forward a couple of years then to well, before the UFC, I would say probably the fight he was most well known for was the Calhoun fight on Bama.
Well done for having an idea.
Fuck, I think that still got mental views on YouTube. I went to watch it live with
what a fight
with Big Jack. The biggest show I've ever been to was fucking Ready to Rage in Pill Leisure Centre. Like,
wait, what arena was that in?
Birmingham, yeah.
And you see, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
What's your memories of that one?
You never went into the cage,
I don't remember anything after that. I haven't been right since. Yeah, no.
Domestically, right? You could argue that's one of the best fights.
100%.
On a domestic level.
When I watch it, because obviously later on in life, my skills got way better.
Yeah.
So I watch it, I think, you look like a bag of shit. But I can understand why it was a fun fight.
And again, going back to what I said, you was winning fights on mentality and toughness.
The thing that everyone knows about that fight is, I say on there, I was on exercise with the army like a week or so before I finished exercise, because I got offered they said, British title. I was like, fucking hell.
And I think where you was on like tour and on the army and on base and away from the gym a lot then, right? You probably detrimental to your skill set in martial arts, because like you was missing out on the jiu-jitsu doing your boxing and your kickboxing,
Yeah.
but it was probably stuff he was falling behind in,
Yeah,
and he was still winning big
But
moment
jiu-jitsu
fights.
ain't good.
No, you know what I mean? Because you weren't doing any grappling when he was with the army, was it?
No,
You know,
no.
that's one thing
I didn't do much of it.
Remember this? Tell the story.
let's carry on the canon.
Yes, that's what I'm on about. Tell the story where, because he's fucking, you look like the elephant man, didn't you? After the fight.
I know you're going to say.
And the doctor come in and check his eyes.
Yeah. I said this in about 100 fucking house parties over the years. But when I tell people, they go back and watch it, and you can physically see your dad do it. It's like they went up, and obviously my face was swelled up, and I can't remember which eye it was. But
Mark Woodard was ref,
yeah. No, I kept on about it for years later, then, didn't he? But one of my eyes was closed, and I couldn't see at all. And his dad stood next to me, like with his hand on my arm, and the doctor comes up and puts his hand over one eye and goes, right, how many fingers am I holding up? His dad goes, 1, 2. Excuse me. I go 2. He's lucky he only went to 3 because. But he was like done it again, said 3, and she goes 1, 2, 3. And I was like 3. He was like, yeah, you can see. I was like,
he looked he's good to go. I hope he can get through his next 5 minutes. And finished him, remember? And the rest is history.
It was a bonkers fight.
And the crowd, mate, it was any atmosphere.
I was offside.
Yeah.
I was 16.
All the Paradise lads ended up in a scrap after with his lot.
I saw it with yours.
Because through the boxing, look, they always done they made up chants like Marshman's gonna get.
That was it.
Marshman's gonna. And then he said and obviously the 3-3 para chant. It was and they took that into the MMA then because they done it.
Well, that was what I was gonna say. So like with the crowd, basically like me and Big Jack and everyone was like sat in this set, and then you had all like fucking hundreds of paras, and then you had hundreds of scousers then because Carlman was and
is he Liverpool match?
Yeah, that's so
fucking bottles flying a lot. I remember me and Des being sat in the row in front of Big Jack and Dylan, and I remember fucking they both gripped me at age 16 by my fucking shirt, lifted me up in the air, and just sat me in between them like fucking sit there. Fucking bottles coming over.
Mental, man.
But yeah, it was a mental atmosphere. Obviously, and he went on and fought Tom Watson at like 21.
That was obviously I lost that fight, but that was probably the best crowd I ever had. Because if you remember, he always came out with
the gorilla mask on, didn't he?
Yeah, and they all had inflatable bananas, didn't they? And then like all of the Para Edge lads had like inflatable hammers. It was like it was just getting chucked about the crowd. And
the Bama days were wicked.
Yeah, really good. It was that show. It was brilliant to be on, but obviously they was paying people too much money. It was gonna go.
And so Bellator ended up with them. Bellator Baltimore, Bellator Europe is pretty much Bama, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What was the story? I think I was in Bama. Tell us the story about Cobra Tate. Fucking doing.
It was. I think it was after the. I think it was after the Carl Noon fight. What's his name? Andrew Tate. Yeah. It was an article come out and someone obviously tagged me in it, and he was saying he'd smashed me and he wanted to fight me. And I didn't even know who he fucking was.
Cobra Tate, we were happy to get it on. PKB.
I'll dust it up. Yeah, ain't not gonna lie.
You can do that the next kid while he's a cat.
Call me.
No time limit. No time limit. PKB call in the net.
I'm gonna jump in with a story from Bama. So me and Jack, I can't remember who's might be the Professor X fight, was it? No, it was a fight. I tell you his fight. Who's the lad? He was a bit of a dreamer, and he had a really good run. And
Leroy Barnes.
And me and Jack and Mark went for a bit of food, and we sat down. And he was like, Mark got out over there with a group of people, and then there was Alex Reed. Do you remember this? Sat down, and Alex Reed is fighting, and me and Mark goes, he's drinking a bottle of beer over there. And he had 2 bottles of beer with his food, didn't he?
Yeah, he was fighting.
And then fought Tom Watson to a decision.
Yeah,
People laugh and joke about Alex Reed, but he ain't no joke. He's like an old school lad who could fight.
Well,
and if it'd been a 3-round fight, he'd have won that title because he won the first 2 rounds.
I felt bad for him because later on, Alex Reed, right? I got tagged in like an article saying that he wanted to fight me, and I put a big thing out saying cheeky cunt. I'll have, like, we can have it any time. We've always fucking shook my hand and said hi to me after WCB. And then I was filming, like, and then the guy who wrote the article basically messaged me saying, no, to be honest with you, he didn't say that. We've done that for clickbait, and like we've worded it this way. Like, and Alex Reid had messaged me, like, you know, read like, going, Jack, it's not like that. I told her, like, and I felt terrible. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, but because I've gone in on him on the internet. I was like, the cunt's dead when I see him.
Classic UK MMA, he did it. Nearly got Alex Reid killed.
The guy literally messaged me and said he didn't say that really. Like, we worded
Just
it.
clickbait.
Yeah, we worded it different.
So then you went on, obviously a couple of years later, then ended up winning the Cage Warriors world title. Again, you shared the photo the other day against that big fucking massive French guy.
Scared of my body, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then signed for the UFC then in 2016.
Let me do it. Let me pull up my main event.
Yeah.
He ended up going to the UFC, didn't he?
Yeah, he fought Modestia.
Yeah, he did that, yeah.
Yeah, so like I remember you ringing me when you had the call, like, fucking hell, I'm gonna believe it. Fucking signed for the UFC. It's like, oh, because at the time it was, we didn't know if it was ever gonna happen.
Yeah, well, I was training for that fight.
And let's be real. Back then, it was like the impossible dream, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like having a kid then. We got that phone call and go, man, I just signed it. It would. Yeah. And I remember driving, Graham ringing me to see if I'd give permission to let him not fight in the main event on my show. Right? How do you feel about it? I said, I'm going to have to pull over. Because I could feel myself starting to cry. You always got to cry, but I thought, oh my God, we've done it. I've got him in. So I pulled over to leave. I've run Graham back. And I went, like, what's the crack? He goes, they want to sign him, but I've said, well, maybe not because he's made. I'm like, no, don't worry about this show. I'll cover that off. Let's get the contract. And it was like 4 weeks from there.
It was shocking because I just come back off a sweat run.
Yeah, and it was like, I remember ringing you and I was awesome.
I was buzzing because I was fighting on the Cage Warriors card. I thought, fucking hell, I'm going to pick up next to about 20 ticket sales. That's my 500 quid up to 7. And Jack.
But no, what a moment it was.
What hell of a week as well.
What I find mad about it, right, is like, over the years, because I got close to being signed a few times, like, I got to the Tom Watson fight, and it was like, whoever wins this is going to go. Yeah. I lost. I come back on a couple of win streak. It was me and Scott Askham again. Yeah. Boom, he got signed. And, like, so I was chasing it for a few years. And then, do you know when I went on that streak and got signed? It was the first time when I stopped. I thought, fuck it, I just enjoy the fights now. Like, I'm going to enjoy it. And then it was mad. That's how it happened. It was like, I know it's like a cliche thing, but it was like the second I stopped worrying about it was the second that I went.
And I think it was long overdue, mate. I think it was probably.
I put on some good fights. Do you know the guys that I fought outside of the UFC though? I fought some of the best. Like at the time, Tom Watson was the best in Europe. Fuck.
We were saying a couple of weeks ago, we were saying how, like, you see so many people these days in MMA who are kind of like, you come across entitled because they're like, fucking, I deserve my shot. You know, like 4 fight wins, so I deserve my shot. I've won 4 in a row. And like me and him were saying, you know, especially him. But when we were kind of in Cage Warriors, when we eventually signed, like, if you look at the people we fought outside of the UFC, at the time, it was like the best available people. Like
we left no argument.
No,
you couldn't argue. Like, do you know when we got signed? Right, there was everyone went on the internet going, "Oh, fucking well." No one ever said, "Oh, how's he signed?" Every one of them was like, "Well, yeah, you know, who else have you got to beat to go?"
Yeah. Whereas now you kind of see people that can beat three, four bums and fight for a belt, and they.
It all depends what gyms they're from and stuff.
My argument is always this, right? No good going to the UFC and being out in 2 fights, which you've seen with a lot of exactly, right? So you're kidding yourself. It's the same at amateur. Even at amateur now, they're building up these amateur records, beating bums, but then sooner or later you've got to fight someone with real. And then your preparation, and that's why.
It's the only way you get better.
Yeah, listen.
Trial by fire.
I know you all say I'm ruthless, but we fight whoever, because I remember you fighting Scott Malone, and people say to me, that's a dangerous fight. Why would you should have signed for the UFC when they offered to do? I said, if he can't beat Scott Malone, he's going to do no good in the UFC. So we need to get this one out of the way, and then we'll sign. And it was right to say, and you know, same with yourself. When you went in fight of the night, knocked out against a really established. Like, people forget how good Cena Blood was.
Fight
win streak.
Knockout.
Big man. Big.
Yeah, he
you
just
know.
come off a knockout.
Yeah.
Knockout of the night, didn't he?
Do you remember when we sat on your bedroom?
I
sat down
watching the fight pass on my Xbox.
I fucking knew because a couple of months before I watched him fight Gareth McLennan, the South African guy.
Yeah.
I watched him fight him, and I was like, that was what he had knocked out of the night, and I was like, I'd spark that, and I knew I knew it, and then when we sat in Tag's bedroom, like studying the fight, like I was like, in my mind, there was no way was I not putting him to sleep.
And mate, when we go back to that fighter's mentality, not a lot of people, there's people within the club, but we carried off the mat 7-8 days in a row.
Yeah.
Like when you gonna have to pull, it was like a week out.
I put crutches.
Yeah.
And
I've
had problems with it ever
final
since.
week, and you had trouble with
Yeah.
your calf.
It's like you. I wasn't going for my fat stage because I made.
I was just gonna say, we used to train every month. Leather centre, like, we always run, and it was like the army mentality. I remember being on the cross train on the bike for just
and the rower. That's the only thing I could do.
days.
Yeah.
And, but it was a mental night. It was about how the fight was going. Like he kind of like he was pinning him for the first one, and you could see.
Right. If you with that as well, because I dropped him in the first like 15 seconds, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it was exactly the same as the fight before the Cage Warriors title. I dropped him in the first 15 seconds, and then it changed. But it's like I think I wake them. As soon as I hit them with a good shot, I wake them, and they think, "Oh fuck, actually," and then they'll go something else, and that's what he did. He pinned me then.
I can always remember watching it because he was in the corner, and like I remember him. I remember him having like that. He went for like a take, and he wasn't the best. So you end up carrying up. And I remember being on the cage, and like we were like, "Don't give your back, don't give your back." And I remember like you turned into him, and you could like see on his face, he was like, "Fucking hell." He's back up, like, and you could see he was getting tired, and he fucking belted him with a hook shot, and his legs went, and there was that picture. And he just went forward. I was like, fucking done him.
That whole week was like probably, out of all the fights we've had, that's probably my best week is injured, because it was such a fucking laugh. It was our first time with the UFC.
And I just felt as well, like I was going into the experience as a coach thinking, well, it's just going to be overwhelming a little bit. We're going to be a bit inferior. And then, like, I come from that for a week thinking, we're on a par with these boys.
I said this for years, like, because obviously I think the gym's a bit, like, even, obviously, you've got Tank in the UFC now, Brett in Bellator, but there's lads in there that are, like, amateur. There's lads in there that are, like, had a couple of pros at a fucking high level. It's like, it's not a club in the country that we couldn't take our lads to go spar and fight or whatever.
And I've sat in them changing rooms at UFC events, and I'm watching how they prepare, and I think, some of it's awful to watch, do you know what I mean? And I think I'm comfortable in my own skin now that we are doing things the right way. I'm comfortable that, like you've always said it, you said, you was the first one to say, you don't need to be going abroad to
that's it. Because we all, like, when I got it, it was at that point where it was sort of like, that's what everyone said, oh, have a look. And I went to a couple of different places to have a look, and to be honest with you, like, they was just good trips. No, I got more out of being at home than I did. Do you know being comfortable in your own gym, and knowing that knowing I can't, because when we was in America training, if I didn't want to go to sparring in the morning, no one would say anything. Yeah. If I don't turn up to sparring on Monday, she's gonna go fucking nuts. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing.
And also when we build a team like we got now, like big in numbers, it's that being, as you said, being comfortable, right? So I've always said, like, I know if him and Brett are having a spar, and if Brett catches you in a knee look and you're a little bit over that, I know Brett will let go. He's not going to go, I'm going to finish his tap. When you visit in these gyms, nobody want to lose, do they? If you visited a gym, they're going to go, oh, Marshman UFC, I'm not going to let him win a round.
I'm a cunt.
Yeah. Marshman, that's what I'm saying.
If I'm sparring someone, I try to kill him.
But you don't do that with your own team, do you?
That's it,
we've always had a good balance of numbers and being comfortable and good training without the risk of getting hurt.
I seen you comment on it, but actually put up a good status the other week, didn't you, about going to a gym and being humbled and stuff like that. It's like, and that's how you in our gym, like, are you any sort of like overzealousness or anything, you'll get knocked out really quickly. Like, it's like you realise if something's on, you tap. If something's, you know,
I always say, this could be the best experience and for the worst.
Yeah.
We'll go as hard as you go. Now, go in there and try and learn from it. Don't go in there trying to be overzealous.
So when I say I'm a cunt for sparring, I am decent to you, but exactly what you're saying. I'm if you turn it up, I'll turn it up. Like I've done it a few times.
One of my favourite ones was like, you prep me for a fight, so I got a more shark tank in you. A little Edwards will come out there and driving the kick at you, swinging from you. And I remember my master going, Chris, I got to go in there next. Stop it now, because you're going to take it over me. Calm down.
I've seen that video of me and Chris sparring. We was about like 50.
You don't say
like about 100 kilos. He's about 60. We're going at it. Like.
Another question then off the Patreon. Favourite fight inside and outside the UFC? You've got it.
So obviously the favourite fight would probably be the noon fight, just because it was a mad one, and it was like, I know I was better than what I performed, but everyone seemed to love the fight and thought it was brilliant, and I know I was 10 times better than I
just
just
had explore you as well. Considering social media back then.
Yeah, so I think that was my first ever televised fight. Well, Knuckle Up was televised, but like no fucking watched it.
It was, because I think it was only 4 or 5-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like 6-7-0, I think it was.
It's like 10-0 when you fought Tom Watkins.
Yes, so I fought Noon,
Barnes,
and then Professor X.
No, that was after. That
was Professor X before Noon then?
No, that was quite late. That was.
Yeah, you've been 8-0 because you would beat. Yeah. You were 9-0. You beat Barnes with 10-0, and then you fought Tom Watkins.
Yeah. So that was my favourite fight, just because it, like I said, it exploded me a bit, and it was just a fun fight, wasn't it, to watch, and not so fun like for my face. Like
I loved that. Like, my favourite one outside the UFC was when he won the Cage Warriors World Title, because that was our first World Title. For me as a coach. And to be honest, that was probably one of my best performances. Like, I didn't rush in. I picked my shots. That was probably my best performance, like skillful wise, because like the Noon fight was obviously, it was just a tear up. That fight they showed, like I didn't let him take me down. Every time he come into me, I got him off me, and then it with good shots. So that's definitely my most skillful. I come from it thinking, you got to be able to show me saying no. Come on, I don't know what more you had to do. Like.
That's what I thought. I looked good against him, and the guy had just beat Chris Fields and all that sort of thing. So I thought I deserved it. But again, like Tank said, we was never entitled. A week later, you offered me another fight to defend my belt. And so I didn't even think about UFC. I said, yeah, sweet.
That was against a Greek guy who signed short notice. You didn't have a derby, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd probably go for the debut, because obviously I was the biggest underdog on the card, I think, or like on the record things. I knew going in, I knew I was going to win. Obviously, I was gutted because I had the fuck leg, but.
And I made a couple of balls on it, and I never bet big usually. But now James Krause knocked that up. I can't put a bet on anymore.
I know, that's mad, isn't it?
One last, it's a question, I'm going to hybrid it a bit before we do the breakdown for the weekend. The question, was any plans to fight again? Well, I'm going to add, if not any plans to fight again, what do you see your life like now after fighting? What was on the what's upcoming for you? Anything you want to?
So for me, like I don't feel the need to put some big post about retiring, and I like to see a lot of amateur fighters do these things. You know, a couple of amateur fights, one pro fight, and then the big fucking statuses. It's like, who gives a fuck if you're retired? To be honest with you, I can't see me fighting again. I earn good money what I'm doing. I fought. You know, I started training at 15. That's over half of my life. I'm 33 this year. I ain't getting no younger, and I've been in some fucking wars. Like, you know what I mean? I've always said the story about fucking forgetting my daughter's name when I was in the hospital one time. Like, the nurse come up to me, I had my daughter, she was only a baby. Like, and she's like, oh, what's her name? I was like, couldn't for the life of me think about it. I was like, that's not good for the brain. It's not. So I just thought, like, obviously, I fucking miss it. I think about it all, like, you know, I've said to you a few times I'm coming back, and then, like, to be honest with you, I'm busy with work, and I got a happy little life at the minute.
And you spot on it, if you're happy. Me, I went, you know, I was nowhere near the level you boys were, but I started fighting at 39 years of age, and my brain is saying, like, do this, do that, and the body's a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately for me, I was in an era where the level I'm nowhere near, like, at this level and the level you play to fight, then if you went 100%, you'd get hurt.
Yeah,
You know,
well, exactly the same, but like slightly different with it. Because in my mind, I still think I'm on a level to fight with anyone, but at the same time, I know I physically can't train on that level. So So if I went into a fight now and I can't train as hard as I used to train,
you lose due to lack of training or ability.
That would kill me. If I go in and lose to a better man, that's sound.
Yeah.
But if I lose to someone because I've not put the training, that'll eat me up for the rest of my life, and I don't want to put myself through that.
As a young bloke, I remember doing a little jiu-jitsu tournament up in, you were probably there, Brimo Rugby Club.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it was an 8-man division, so it was a table of four, round robins, and then the top two went through to the semi-final. So the winner of Group A fought the runner-up in Group B, and the winner of Group B, and then fought the final. So I beat a boy in the group division. So I went through his first, I won my 3 fights, won the semi-final, fight number 4, then fought the boy I'd beaten in my group in the final, and he beat me because I gassed. And I remember coming from and thinking, I'll never. I'm better than him. It was on our first fight, I beat him. Yeah. But he's took a gold medal now because I ain't fit enough and I wouldn't prepare him. And that's why you won't nag me, but that's why I'm swashing the gym of your preparation. You might lose so you ain't good enough. We'll all live with that, and you never have complete of me. But if you lose because you aren't prepped enough.
And you tell people, like, you give it a day or two after the fight, but you'll say on Monday, well, the reason is for losing. Yeah, and like you say we nag about it, but like I've through my whole career, I appreciate it. Your honesty and you saying, listen, you lost it because you didn't fucking put the effort in the gym. I'll eat that. I'll take that all day.
It's no worse feeling than being. I remember it was a similar with me, but it was a fight I won. It was when I fought Figlack for the cage on the belt now, the pain pit belt. And I remember winning. But I remember in our third round, coming out for the third round, thinking I can't feel my fucking arms, I can't feel my legs, and my lungs are on fire. And I think I got a fight now, another 3 minutes against a good level warrior. And even though I won it, I remember coming out and thinking I'm never ever gonna feel like that again in the fight, because it's the scariest feeling in the world.
I remember being in your corner and like looking over, and the size of that cunt's legs was like he's like 3 times. It's like tanks like me, fucking not the greatest shredded. This cunt stood opposite him, absolutely shredded with legs like 3 times. I thought, oh, it's gonna be a tough night.
I never looked at him while in there thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell him, but
and
I'm
he
saying
said to me, he said, "Cool, that's a big Right, yeah. So that's a wrap up, Marshman. Thanks for coming on. We'll just do a quick. Hang on. Do you want to touch on what you're doing now? Because you said like you've been enjoying it. I don't know if you'd be allowed to talk. Yeah. In a broad spectrum, we'll go into the time.
Yeah. So nowadays, obviously, I find it funny, like, because obviously I done the military for like 12 years and fighting all the way up to the UFC level. you rock up to a fucking job centre and say, well, you're good at it. It's like, I can jump out of planes, I can shoot people, and I'm really good at fucking beating people up. Like, it's
we got a job for you.
They're like, oh, you fuck off to Tesco's. Like, it's you know what I mean? It was hard for me, and I was worried. I didn't know what I was going to go into. And then I had loads of mates in the security industry, like, you know, like from bodyguarding, private security, like all sorts of different gigs. Like my first gig, I was with a musician, went out to Beirut and like looked after them out there. But now I'm with a family up near London, and yeah, I'm like security for a family, and it's decent, to be honest with you. Is what I'm doing now is not like people when they hear the job, they think it's like fucking cool and glad. It's fucking not. It's
really, probably quite boring.
I've done some jobs where it's been exciting, but you know, if I can sit there and earn good money, not doing a lot, and I get to go in the gym every single day, I don't lose no sleep over it. So I like I said, I'm enjoying my life. I miss training. When I only get a week at home. So out of 5 weeks, I'm only home 1 week because I work 2 weeks, 1 week off, 2 weeks. So out of 5 weeks, I'm home for 1. So I spend as much time with my daughter as I can, and then
you managed to wangle it or his week off as the week of the Christmas do.
You put the 2 dates on, didn't you? And I was like, oh, please do the 10th. Someone messaged me the other day saying, oh, my wedding's on the 10th. Are you coming there? I was like, no. So MMA Christmas do. I am fucking missing it.
So yeah, any celebrities that might be watching, there's after a bit of close protection. We know a guy. And
Andrew Tate.
Yeah. We'll have a fucking duster.
you can fight in any bodyguard, no problem. Right, yeah, so we're quickly going to break on the card on the weekend. Last pay-per-view of the year for the UFC. To be honest, probably not as strong as a card as the one this weekend.
I thought this card would be this weekend.
I think how they didn't put 4 or 5 fights from this card on the weekend on the main card.
The main card this week, it wasn't a bad fight, was it?
No.
But we'll just do the 3 main ones for us. I think the first one is Darren Till against how do you say his name? Duplessis.
South African guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure he was a KSW champion.
What was that? EFC as well.
champion. He called for the Till fight, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I tell you, he's a capable lad.
He's unbeaten in the UFC.
Yeah.
I've watched him fight a few times. He knocked out that Yannick Bahati.
Yeah, Bahati. Yeah. He's that's right in the UFC.
Yeah. He won the title.
He I think is using. In his mind, he's probably thinking Till propel him into like more high profile because he's got all skill. But you know, he's a banger, and that's one place where Till will excel. You know,
from what I'm seeing, though, like obviously, because I think what people don't look into a lot with MMA is the mental side of things, and like Till haven't been on for a while, if he's not been at his best. But from what I'm seeing from his social media and that, like the last, he seemed to be. Like, you know, he's on the ball, he's training, he's grafting.
He's looking in decent shape.
That's why I'm going to say.
So I'm hoping he's back to what he was.
I think Till's TKO because this lad comes to strike.
Yeah.
And you know, when my fan Dan his skill set is striking and his top fight.
I think he's out in Thailand at the minute, and obviously it's hard to not isolate yourself when he's been in Thailand for like 8 weeks. Like we said, the boy is a striker, and Till is probably, in my opinion, like I think you could put Till in a, you could, you know, like the ONE FC Thai fight, you could put Till in against a top 5. And in pure Thai strike.
Like your dad said, he's definitely top 5.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're gonna come and strike and not mix it up, then and it's make or break for him, to be honest. Like he's lost his last.
And I guarantee his wrestling will improve because he's working with Kazmat a lot, right?
And
I guarantee he'll be
working on his defense.
I think Till's wrestling defense was pretty good anyway. He's just talking like.
But what about the level of now? If he's working with the likes
No, but
of
what I'm saying is the last 2 guys he fought have been Robert Whittaker, who is arguably, I know. Well, you've got Pereira as the champ, so he's in the triangle, isn't he? He could probably beat Pereira, but can't beat Izzy.
Yeah.
So he's top 2-3 middleweights in the world, and then he lost to Brunson, who is a good level wrestler, and there was rumours that Till went into the fight. But we was there. We fought the same week, and we clicked on that. You know, he wasn't running and stuff.
Yeah.
You could see he didn't look in as good shape. And
like I said, the mental side of it as well. Like from what you heard, I think he was living a bit of a life as well.
Yeah.
And also, this fight is further down the card. It's a 3-rounder. He's had 5-round fights. Yeah. Probably his last 4 or 5 fights.
Main event.
The name's not as big as well, so the pressure's not as on.
And I think I'm going to predict he does him in 2 rounds.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I think I'm going to go round 1.
Yeah, I think
round 1.
Catch him, that guy will come
The guy will come in.
And I think we'll have the post-fight interview of the year then.
So yeah, I go round 1 KO Till.
I go 2.
Yeah, I'll go 1 as well. I think he's going to come in storming that guy.
I'll get Joe's prediction off him later on, so I can bet him on it hopefully. I'm not allowed to fucking bet the UFC now. Can I wager between friends though?
No, you go to jail, bro.
Oh fuck.
We'll have a fight there. I'll go second. I'll go first. You're
right. You're bad
already.
You're bad.
On the last bet, I can't remember.
He charged you petrol for bringing over.
Let me tell you. I said to him, I meet out the back of his house, so he jumped in the car. He said, "Come on, you're driving." He said,
"Energy crisis. He's minted."
Get on with it.
Right. The co-main event, which is massive, really, when you think of it. But it just shows how big of a star he is. That it's his 4th fight against a guy who's not ranked. Although good guys, we've got Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon.
This is the type of fight Paddy needs, I think, to show that he's at the right level. Do you know what I mean? Bit of history as well. They sold a fight on Jared Fishgold, who was Paddy's teammate when he was in Abu Dhabi. He's a good all-rounder. So I think Paddy comes through this. They probably look in top 15 next fight, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think stylistically, like you say, on paper it's a tough fight because Gordon have been in there with some of the best, like you've been in there like your Luke Days and some of the best guys on I think he fought with him. He fought to my level, guys. And he's a good level. He's tough. He can strike a little bit. He trains in Henry Hoof, so you know his striking. He can wrestle. He can grapple. But I just think styles do make fights. I think stylistically, Paddy, he's very awkward on the feet. Paddy, he's not a traditional striker. He's not going to come and
No, and he's tough, you know.
He's not going to come up
in shot.
He's not going to come up in like some of the guys he's going to be sparring in the gym there with a traditional kick.
Yeah.
He's flying knees, he jump kicks, he's fucking wild, isn't he? And I think what will happen, or how I see the fight going, is Paddy coming out like that, a bit wild. I think Gordon will kind of go back to his default and not to wrestle, grapple, and I think
Paddy's
grappling.
I
can even see Paddy sucking him off his back.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how I see the fight going. Exactly that. Him, Paddy coming out rushing, that Gordon end up taking him down and thinking that's a positive, but I think he'll get subbed off his back.
I think, again, I'm going to go second on Paddy.
I'll go 1.
Yeah, I'll go round 2. I think 2 or 3, because I think Paddy is, although he's frantic, I think he can be a bit of a slow. It takes him a bit of time, especially the last 2 fights. It took him a bit of time to get going. But when you can't knock him, his grappling is elite level. And like I said, if Gordon to come out and like just not panic shoot, but just default. Oh, you've been it. I'll take him down. That's where Paddy's.
Paddy done it last week. I watched him saying like there are many grapplers who can mimic his grappling style, which is right. He's
everything he does is an orthodox.
You know, it's all wild stuff. He's frantic. He's flat out. But I think because of all the stuff that follows Paddy, they do forget that he is genuinely a really good talent as well. You know, somebody's in the time we can say, "Oh, it's all social media." I wish him all the best. I don't begrudge him anything. I think, you know,
I think if you can make money out of doing it.
Whenever any dealings we've had with him, he's a really good bloke. Do you know what I mean?
I've known him a lot of years.
We've known him since he was a young kid, haven't we?
You look at his cage or his rep, like we were saying, we were talking about earlier about people getting titles and think they deserve shit. But you look at Paddy who he fought outside of the UFC. But win, lose or draw, he never fought. Everyone he fought in cage was
like that. Julian Rosa, saw him back.
He's got a good mentality as well.
Yeah.
You know, like you're saying about
I think that Paul Rimmer wouldn't let him.
He got that mentality.
Well, you can see that.
Paul Rimmer's in with that, like that type of Spence him, like I was like.
You can see that on the video vlogs and stuff. Like I follow Paddy stuff, and you can see like they are very similar to us. They're close knit, and I think because they have had him since he was 14, 15, they're not going to suddenly become yes men because there's a lot of money around him. They're still going to be the type to say, well, you can see it with. He's bantering and they're like, no, fucking sort it out. And they're not going to just, yes sir, no sir, him because...
Yeah, just he's making great shape. And they talk about his weight. A lot of it, he carries on his face. Like, he's never out of shape. You know, you work with Paul Eden. Paul always say, he's the most disciplined fighter in camp you're ever going to meet. And you only got to look at his shape on the day.
Well, Paul Reed said, done a video, didn't he? Going back at Mike Dolce or whatever his name is. And he said, look, he's got a smart media team around him. They know they can make a lot of money off these food challenges, off this Paddy the Fatty kind of thing in between. He's not as out of shape as they'd have you believe. Yeah. And you can see that, like within 8 weeks, 10 weeks, you can see he's ripped up. He's not going to struggle this week to make weight, you can tell by looking at him. So, I'm going to go Paddy submission. Yeah, I'm going to go quite late on, round 2 or 3.
I'm going to go quite quick because I think it's going to be quite frantic like it normally is with it.
Well, you know, that's that. That's how I'm bagged in. And then the main event, which is a bit of a madden because we've gone from having Yuri and Glover fighting for the title, the main event, to the title being vacated. Glover not accepting a fight with Ankalaev, so now we've got Blachowicz versus Ankalaev.
Just touch on that, right? How the UFC can flip things on you. Like they've been, I felt, pretty disrespectful with that, but in a way, it's like he has offered to fight three people from what I've read. And said he needs a month to prepare for
completely different fight than the other two.
Now, for what he's done for that company, they should have gone, deal, shake hands, maybe.
And he's 42.
You know, come on. Like, he offered to fight Blachowicz.
Yeah, so he was going to fight Yuri when Yuri pulled out. So he said, they said about him fighting Ankalaev. He said, look, I'm not fighting him on that date because he's a completely different style.
4 weeks he asked for.
He said, what about Blachowicz? He said, we're not doing a Blachowicz fight because you beat the company last time. He said, right, fair enough. I'll fight Ankalaev, but I want it in Rio in January, so I got more time to prepare, which ain't like a fucking preposterous.
Yeah, and it's a big fight for Rio, that is.
Yeah, it's not like that Ankalaev, man. He's jumping in on 2 weeks' notice. Like, he was gonna fight Blakovic on the undercard anyway. So it's like he's fit, he's strong, he's in fight.
So this fight was already on the
gives him
undercard.
4 weeks to go
Exactly.
from 3 rounds to 5.
So this fight was happening on the main card, but was happening on the undercard. So it's not like Ankalaev said, "Oh, I'll fight on 2 weeks."
Oh, I didn't realise this was already.
Yeah, this fight was already matched.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, Yuri vacating now. So I hope they don't do Glover dirty, like, because it's looking like Yuri's going to be out for about a year. I think they said he's going to have surgery, and then it's looking like
it's a bad one,
like 12 months. So hopefully, whoever wins, they give Glover the next shot. But you can't fucking count Blakovic out because he fights like a fucking train.
Yeah.
Like we counted him out against loads of people. And
He's a fighter that, do you know, every time I watch him, or every time he's matched up, I always think, he don't look that good, he ain't going to win this. And then fucking he seems to pull it out the back. Like,
be honest, who thought he was going to beat Adesanya? Truthfully.
No.
I didn't.
No.
I didn't, even with the size difference. I thought Adesanya just pick him off.
I put £2 on Adesanya.
Big bet.
What I will say here is that Ankalaev is a really slick striker. And coming from fucking Dagestan,
He can't grapple.
You would imagine he can fucking grapple.
People think he can't grapple. Paul Craig caught him in a triangle.
At the last second of the
For
fight.
the last second of the fight, after mauling him.
Yeah.
But Paul Craig can tap anybody on his
The only thing I will say is he's never fought a 5-rounder. I know Jan's not really known for being like a cardio king, but he have done multiple 5-round fights.
He looked fresh when he fought Izzy.
Yeah, so...
But I'm going to go Ankalaev.
Yeah, I would have to go Ankalaev.
I think he's a really, really good... really good prospect.
I would probably say, I might...
I think he beats Glover.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, I don't. That's why I didn't want it straight away. He would have to prepare for it because.
I'm gonna go Ankalaev by either a TKO or a decision.
I would say later rounds like 3 to 4. I think he'll end up.
Do you know how I see this going now? Right? How about this? This is the crystal ball. Yeah. Ankalaev wins. He fights Glover then in March. Beats Glover, and then the fucking Brazilian demon Pereira will come up to avenge fucking Glover and spark Ankalaev.
What do you think of that, Pereira? I love it.
Do you see on that? See on the Ariel One show? And he says, just stay.
He didn't take his eyes off.
Translate like that, and he's able to stay.
He's just looking hard fucking.
Well, like you see, Joe Rogan said, like his ancestors, he's like a direct descendant of people who lived in the Amazon.
Well, they still do, don't they? Parts of they still got
tribes. They regularly touch it. It's like that.
It's like, this is my thing. Like, you know, like if that first round of Izzy had been 10 seconds longer, he would have knocked him out, wouldn't he? Because he was on. But imagine having that much power and it in that hard, and you think, yeah, he nearly sparked me, but I'm just going to still walk it because I know I've only got to land on you once and you won't sleep. And that's what he did, wasn't he? For the next 4 rounds, he just fucking walked him.
And yeah, like a flowy style, is he? He's
like
and he don't even look like a powerful shot. But was it with Brett, was it, just before that fight? Maybe we two and we were watching, Cage Warriors. So we were watching, just looking at highlights of, and I said to the boys, look, watch him by now, really sparking. And even in the kickboxing though, it don't even look like a devastating shot.
No, and he looked quite slow and lean.
Yeah, slow like
a short. You see him not stepping up. It wasn't like a fucking it was like a boom.
Yeah, just a little
boom,
left.
And it's like, do you know, if I was his manager, I'd be saying to him, look, unless you're going to rematch Izzy next fight and have a big money payday, fucking go up to light heavyweight, because stylistically, that division is an easier division for him. There's a lot more strikers. There's no real elite level. Like, I think someone like Whittaker could beat him. So I think Whittaker would just come in and wrestle. But Tory would probably cause him some issues. Izzy's always going to be a 50-50 fight, because Izzy's going to come and strike. You've got that chance to knock him up. But Cam's at it. Could even beat him.
Yeah. Going back to Izzy, talk about Dan Till. Izzy have always said he'd like the Till fight, don't he? Till have a good knockout here Saturday. That's what he would be calling for, saying Izzy's been
Till and Pereira would be a fucking good fight, mate.
Yeah, striking.
I just think money-wise, Till and Izzy would be a big earner for Dan as well, like a good career.
Well, I think Izzy come out and said he's in no rush to come back, kind of thing. But he have said he don't care if it's for the belt or not. His next fight is going to be Pereira.
It's got to be Pereira.
He said, because I think he's under. He knows as well. If Pereira fights Whittaker now, he's probably going to lose the belt.
Yeah, but like you said, if I was Pereira's management, I'd be saying fuck it off.
Fuck the weight cut, go up.
Literally watch what happens this weekend, and then start calling for that. Be a double weight champ.
Maybe he's waiting on Glover to retire.
Yeah,
Over
yeah.
Glover.
Yeah,
Perhaps
yeah,
he's
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
he don't want to get in the way of Glover fighting. Do you see him?
Yeah.
You see him try and bet Brendan Schaub 100k?
Yeah.
That he would
No expression on his face.
fight Cam's at like heavyweight, and he said, "I bet you don't take me down at 50 cents."
Yeah, he's a lunatic. But when he was like, you've asked to fight him. I mean, you know, welterweight. He's like, yeah, no, well, I'm fighting him at 205 now. It's like, and he's fuming that he's not accepting it. It's like, you can't say to a welterweight, like, fucking fight me at 205 next week.
Go on, then. I just go back to Till. Did you see Till on Bisping show this week?
No.
He is loose, mate, right?
He's funny.
He's all about he's had a thing going with Chelsea or something now. And he's going, Bisping, none of them want to smoke with me because I told Chelsea straight, shut up or I'll release your mobile number all over the internet. I done it radio, he said. No one wants to smoke with Till. He's talking about that in the third part. He's going, no one wants to smoke with Till because I'll just.
He is the ultimate troll, though, isn't he? He's
Yeah,
fucking
David.
brilliant.
He says that when they try to he said, listen, you can't cancel me because I don't give a fuck, he said. Because I don't give a fuck, I can't be cancelled.
He's gone like fairly quiet on social media, but you know when he goes through his stages and just ripping people on his fucking hilarious.
Shut up, I'll release your number to social media. Can you imagine how many phone calls
Yeah.
Remember when he FaceTimed Kazmat before they were even mates? And Kazmat got a knife up to his
Whoa!
What is happening like for Kazmat?
Yeah.
He done like a freeway interview with like Chael and Ariel months and months and months ago to the internet. Yeah, he's like, Ariel, just, I bet your wife loves animals or something like that. And just, you know, like, right, alright.
He's done it a few times on a few different interviews. He's brought it up and said something about his wife. Like, you can't do that, you take.
That's a good note to end it on, right? Yeah, Marshman fans are coming on.
Yeah, cheers for
And
having us.
don't forget, like, share, subscribe, send to your aunties, your nans, your cousins, and you can also sign up to the
Maybe not
Patreon
your
as well.
manners.
No, your nans will enjoy that one. It was quite PG for Marshman.
I know, right?
But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you for the Christmas episode next time.
Get go, it's what we trap for. Some man they wanna chat shit till I knock 'em ain't like I'm Jack Shaw. Rolls hot, rolls back, my flow shot like a hacksaw.